let's get into the top gaming news of last week. And we have to start with now the newest, biggest acquisition, video game acquisition in video game history, which is that does involve Microsoft, right? Because last week it was Take-Two buying Zynga for like, I don't know, like $12 billion, $14 billion.
12,
like
12, yeah. Like 12.3.
Yeah. This blows it out of the water. Okay. Microsoft has now agreed to buy Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion, which is double the war chest that Microsoft has in the bank. Right? Yeah. So, this is kind of crazy.
That's insane. 69. Let's just call it 69 billion. Let's just round it up a little bit. 69 billion. Well, what's an extra 3 billion in this case? Or 300,000.
What's an extra 3? What's an extra? 300 million. Yeah, 300 million.
I mean,
yeah, 1 billion, 300 million. Yeah. What's that extra one?
I mean, come on. It's almost nothing. This is insane, man. I thought it would be a couple months, maybe even a year before we heard about the next big acquisition, right? Because before Zynga, it was Microsoft buying ZeniMax and buying all of that stuff.
Well, we knew Microsoft had one more acquisition left, right? They even said analysts said there was one more big acquisition left that Microsoft was going to make. We all thought maybe Sega to get into the Japanese market, right?
Yeah. Because that was they tried to do that before, right? When the Xbox first came out, they had all those Sega exclusives, and I think you mentioned a couple of times that they were kind of in talks to possibly, or Microsoft definitely wanted to buy them. Sega's like, we'll put some games in the system.
Bill Gates famously, there was a quote that Bill Gates famously said he did not have confidence in Sega at the time to do it, right? Like obviously he wanted to buy them and they would run everything, but he didn't have confidence in Sega. But $68.7 billion is a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So this deal is not really going to go through until probably like June or summer of 2023. So nothing is going to change for the foreseeable future for the next year and a half.
And there's also a possibility that this gets blocked. Is that because Microsoft is venturing into antitrust territory?
It is a possibility, but from all accounts that I've seen, they said, that this is going to get scrutinized heavily, but it won't be blocked. It won't be blocked.
Okay.
So I don't think it'll be blocked. It's funny enough, Activision Blizzard market cap is near $51 billion. So they sort of overpaid for them, right? For future revenue.
Right.
And a big reason for that is with all the controversies, which we spoke about
at length. Yeah.
Activision visit. When all of this started, Bobby Kotick, the CEO, actually started to put Activision, like he said, that's when it started, they put it on the market to be sold.
Yeah, so it's not a coincidence. There's some shit that went down and Bobby wanted to get out. Let me just sell the company, and then he'll be free of all the controversy and we'll forget his name in a year.
So Microsoft was worried, right? Because apparently by all analysts, we're talking about Wall Street Journal. We're not talking about video game analysts. We're talking about the Wall Street Journal and stuff like that. That Google and Facebook / Meta, I just can't call it Meta. I'm not going to call it Meta.
Meta's the company name. Facebook is their product now.
I'm not going to call it that. I'm going to call it Facebook.
It doesn't matter.
Facebook and Google were in the running to buy it, right? And apparently Amazon wanted to throw that hat in the ring, if you believe all the accounts. And Apple actually inquired about purchasing them, right? They didn't get too serious in the talks, but they definitely wanted. So whenever you say Apple, Microsoft is going to jump. So
they all have the money, Apple could have easily dropped the sack of money, and that would have been it. It would have been there you go.
Well, this makes more sense to me why Microsoft would drop so much money, half of their evaluation, right? Half of what they have in the bank for it, because they didn't want sort of Google and Apple, I think mostly, to pick up the biggest third-party company in the world.
Yeah, they are definitely up there. I mean, Activision and Blizzard with Warcraft.
Imagine Call of Duty being exclusive
StarCraft,
to Stadia.
Call of Duty, Spyro, Crash. I mean, they own everything. They own all the big franchises. Right?
They own Sierra. Old Sierra games, right? They owned old Atari games that were out on Atari, right? Because that's how Activision even started, right?
Yeah.
Like they broke off because they weren't getting any recognition from Atari. They broke off to be sort of the first third party developer.
That's right. They also now own King Games, too. That's what people forget. Activision Blizzard King. And King is Candy Crush. So Microsoft now will own Candy Crush as well, which is
100%.
insane.
I mean, which is why if you look at like Bethesda, right? Bethesda, not a publicly traded company, private company, owns a lot of technology, a lot of games that, people in the video game space like adore. Activision Blizzard owns, from Call of Duty, which is the best-selling game every year for the last 10 years.
Franchise-wise, yeah.
Yeah, and then they own Candy Crush, which is like a mobile game, which is like the most that produces like the most money for them out of any other game, probably. Right?
Oh yeah.
So it makes sense why it costs so much to buy them.
Oh yeah, no, they have a ton of stuff in their portfolio for sure. For sure. The thing that's kind of surprising to me, or it was surprising to me at least, was Apple being in these talks. Because I don't see Apple. Apple has zero gaming companies in their portfolio, right? And I don't see them as a gaming company or a company that wants to get into gaming. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but they haven't really made any moves other than here's Apple Arcade, here's a bunch of curated stuff, which is good, but it's also not them getting into the space per se, but charging a fee for a bunch of games that look very aesthetically pleasing. And they do. They're great.
Well, someone who is an Apple aficionado like myself, who owns everything Apple, everything I want is Apple.
Oh, yeah. You were a fanboy. You were a fanboy for sure.
I am in the ecosystem. I will admit that. Is for the last 10 years since we started, even since we started the show, there's been rumors of Apple wanting to get in the video game space. But they don't want to start from scratch like Microsoft did, right? Like building it up from scratch, from nothing, making it into something. They want to buy in with market share, right?
Oh, sure.
So Call of Duty, Activision. I mean, Activision Blizzard makes sense, right? They have Diablo. They have all of the World of Warcraft, like WoW, right? Like they have the number one, online games. They're big. The number one selling game.
They're certainly a big company
every year. They want to have market share, so that makes sense. That Apple, if they want to they're not going to buy the Obsidians. Like, they're not going to buy the Obsidians. They're not going to worry about Senua's Sacrifice 2, right? Like Senua's Sacrifice or Senua's Saga. They're not going to buy Double Fine, right? They want to start with a splash, and they would buy.
I think that's exactly what they should do. Double Fine would have been awesome under Apple for sure.
No. That's a difference in what you think they should do and what they want to do to make a splash. I think they should buy smaller companies and build their way up, but that's not what they want to do. They want to have automatic market share in the gaming space. And buying EA, Activision Blizzard, or Ubisoft would do that for them.
You could certainly buy Ubisoft, right? If Activision Blizzard is available for sale. And granted, it's mostly because of Bobby's actions and all the controversy that came out, because otherwise, I don't think they would have sold to Microsoft in that way. But he found a way out and went over that way. But then you look at like ZeniMax, which is not quite as big as Ubisoft. I think they're like 11 billion.
Private company.
Well, that all aside, let's take that all out of the equation, right? They're a company that you could go to, hand them a sack of money, you double what they're worth, and they may take it, because they've had some controversy too.
Yeah, but obviously, like Apple being like a cell phone company, it makes sense. I would actually. Not even Activision Blizzard. It makes sense for them to buy Zynga and not 2K, right? I would see them buying Zynga and having that market share. And they have the marketplace in mobile, and they have the mobile games, right? That everybody loves, right? Like I could see that more as a thing than anything. But I can understand why they would want to make, a splash and own Call of Duty, own Candy Crush, own those franchises.
Yeah,
over anything else.
The thing that also gets me too is like Apple cares about their brand. Like, first and foremost, everything needs to be bespoke. Everything needs to be like amazingly over-designed and looks really pretty. They have the best screens. Like they do a lot right. There's a lot I don't like about them, but aesthetically they do a lot right. So I don't like Call of Duty has a lot of, obviously the art style is kind of gritty realism. The online community is a little bit toxic. I don't really see that fitting in with Apple's brand either. Like that's the whole thing too. Like I see Apple's brand fitting in with Double Fine because they make very aesthetically pleasing games that have like unique art styles and whatnot. Like I could see that being more aligned with like Apple and then letting Tim Schafer kind of work his magic and make games, and Apple saying, here's a bunch of money, make what you want to make. We trust in your brand, right? But I don't know. I mean, if it's just purely monetarily focused and they want to like snatch up everybody, then Activision Blizzard would have been the way to go, right? They were available and, everybody, I mean, people were saying that they were in the talk. So, there was definitely some chatter about it, but it would just be weird to me to have Apple own Activision Blizzard. I don't know. I think Microsoft is the right move. Out of these four, out of the five companies, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google, and Microsoft.
Come on,
I would take Microsoft.
You didn't want Call of Duty to be exclusive to Google Stadia?
Yeah, and their whole division would be folded within the year.
Come on.
That's the problem. Facebook's thing, it would be tied to their Oculus. It'd be weird.
Come on,
there'd be weird advertising in it.
You can play Call of Duty VR exclusively on the Oculus. Come on.
God. Yeah, no, I don't know.
If you want to play the next Crash Bandicoot game, it's VR and the Oculus. They have hardware.
Well, that's actually funny too. Microsoft now owns, essentially, in my eyes, the mascot of the original PlayStation. Crash.
Well, I mean, it was the original PlayStation mascot, so yeah.
Oh, what, Polygon Man?
It was.
Polygon Man. Yeah, nobody remembers Polygon Man. I
thought he was great. He was great.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he was there for like a month, and then they're like, this is dumb. We have to drop Polygon Man.
Well, obviously, they made this was more, I think the Bethesda acquisition was Xbox acquisition, right? I think they more aligned lobbied for that to get the IPs.
It was a business move, yeah. It was a economic
This was more of a
move.
Microsoft decision, right? Where Microsoft wanted to buy them because they saw the money that they were generating, because this was more of a money move than anything else. But it benefits Games Pass, right? And just think about
100%.
Let's take a look. Activision Blizzard, nearly 400 million monthly active players in 190 countries, where Games Pass now is more than 25 million subscribers. So this is all in an effort to bolster subscriber base for Games Pass.
Every new Call of Duty, after they get acquired, the 2023 Call of Duty, Games Pass. 2024 Call of Duty, Games Pass. It's going to be great.
Well, I think the biggest question right now is, Activision Blizzard still has that lawsuit pending with the state of California, right?
Yep.
And, everyone automatically thinks that, because of this, the cultural change, right? I think that's the biggest question. I mean, will the culture change at Activision Blizzard when this transaction actually goes through? Or will they keep the status quo? I mean, the CEO of Microsoft, not Phil Spencer, which he runs the Xbox division for Microsoft, the CEO of Microsoft was, on record pretty much, praising Bobby Kotick's, leadership, right? Pretty much saying, he was grateful for his leadership. Now, he could
you got to be diplomatic about the situation, especially when you just bought the company, because you don't want their valuation or share to go down, right? You don't want to be shitting on the company you just bought.
He could just be saying that because, again, the deal didn't go through yet, right? So
also that too. He doesn't want to burn any bridges. You know, what are you going to be like? No, Bobby Kotick's got to go. No.
I think we all in agreement that Bobby Kotick is not going to stay when the acquisition happens.
He's gone. He's 100% gone.
But you know what? Don't cry for him, even though you want to cry for him.
Who wants to? No, I don't think anyone wants to cry for him, Dan.
Well, not in a different way. Not you don't want to cry for him in a sad way. You want him to suffer somewhat for what he did or did not do as CEO. But don't cry for him in any way, because the man stands to make $350 million.
Yep, that's insane. The golden parachute. Oh, thank you, Dr. Evil. Nice.
$1 million. I know. From the acquisition.
Oh, $350 million. Yeah, that's his golden parachute. Among other things, I'm sure there's all the stock options and the whatever, and he's going to cash out all this money. He's going to be fine, you know?
Yeah. And apparently, there was supposed to be a meeting with employees. Mm-hmm. That he was late to. He didn't even get there on time.
That man doesn't have time for that. He's like, I have to go and address all of Activision, Blizzard, and King Games.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Yeah, no. That dude is out. He's already looking at his property in the Caymans. Right? He's going to be retired. This guy's done. I don't think he's going to be involved in anything else. It's crazy.
I don't want to talk about him anymore. Mm-hmm. Okay, like he's done. He's essentially done for the next year and a half. Nothing's going to change, but nothing's going to change. The new Call of Duty will be announced at some point around E3 time, and it will be out on all platforms. Well, multi-platform, not the Switch. When it does come out, probably in October, right? And it will be the best-selling game of 2022.
I mean, yeah,
which of course, guaranteed.
Because it just is. Yeah, right. It just is. Everyone looks past the controversy when you put out a AAA game that everybody wants to play. You go, F it, I'm going to get it, and I'm going to play it.
When the trailers come out, it won't have Activision Blue on it, because they're going to take that off.
Microsoft Game Studios, right?
It's not even going to say that. It's just, remember, I think the Call of Duty Vanguard, when it came out, they didn't have Activision logo on it because of all the controversy.
Yeah, so, That was a calculated move. Well, a couple of things. I did read that they're going to take Call of Duty out of the annual cycle, even though there's multiple studios. Yeah, it's a possibility. Yeah, it's a possibility. But that would go a long way. And the reason I think that's kind of true, and the reason I think that the culture is going to change, is you're not going to spend that amount of money and just keep everything the same, right? There obviously been a lot of firings and layoffs and people leaving, and now Bobby is most likely going to be kicked out. They're gonna have a huge changing of the guard. Phil Spencer's going to step in. Apparently, everyone's going to be reporting to Phil Spencer, all of the studios. So he's going to have his hands in it, right? And he's gonna make the change. I trust in Phil Spencer as much as I'm trepidatious about this deal, because Microsoft is becoming like a monolith, which is a little bit weird, but they've been treating all their companies right, as far as I can tell. I don't think we've had any. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think that it will be annual, right? But remember, 2 years ago, they stopped. It was only 2 studios and not 3 studios that were putting out. Well, it was Infinity Ward, Raven, and another one.
Yeah. So they stopped. It was only going to be 2 studios putting it out. So that means every
Treyarch.
2 years.
Yeah.
Treyarch. That's right. And it was going to be every 2 years. Mm-hmm. I think Microsoft will keep every year, but maybe add a studio that we don't know of just yet, right? Maybe make it 4 studios. So every 4 years we'll get a different Call of Duty game,
it's possible.
Right? Or every other year, or every other year. Maybe.
I mean, it's
along those lines.
It's hard to, from an economic standpoint, it's hard to say, hey, let's not put out a game every year, right? They found a way to fix it. They said, let's do 3 studios. So every game gets a 3-year production cycle, right? Which is doable, as opposed to a 1-year development cycle
Correct.
by a single studio, right? So they kind of solved that problem. They said, we can do it with 2 studios. And, Vanguard still sold well, even,
the
review
number
scores.
one selling game of 2021.
Yeah, I know.
Don't understate.
Review scores not so great on that game.
It didn't sell well. It was so great.
Well, they always do. They always top the charts year after year. So it's kind of hard to say no to that. But right. I would be okay with a not annual release of Call of Duty. If it was every 2 or 3 years, I'd be all right with that.
So here's the thing: is this the question is in 2024? Because I don't think this. I think 2020. I think this year and next year is set contractually, right? So 2024 is that the time where Call of Duty stops being the best-selling game every year, right? Because it's either exclusive or on Games Pass, right?
Well, right? I mean, are you asking? Right? Are they gonna pull it off the PlayStation Store? Is it not going to be?
Well, no. I'm asking. If they say, "Hey, this is on Games Pass, you don't have to spend $60-$70 for it. It's on Games Pass."
Sure.
Right? Is it now not the best-selling game of all time? Right?
Yeah. See, I don't know how they factor in. I don't know how they factor all that in.
Does it push Games Pass subscriptions?
Well, I mean. Either way, it's a win for Microsoft, right? Because, look at it this way. A membership to Games Pass, right? You can, let's assume it's in perpetuity. That's $15 a month if you're paying month to month. $15 a month. So what is that? Like 15 times 12, right? 180 or something like that. 150, 180 bucks per year versus $60, right? And that's not to mention the Battle Pass. That's not to mention any other microtransactions, which are not included with Games Pass, right? You just get the game, right? So it's just that. So there's more money to be had for them with the Games Pass, right? Sales numbers will probably take a bit of a dip, right? People aren't going to be buying the digital or the physical version, right? Because you can just play it on Games Pass. If this works out in their favor and they move from their 25 million subscribers now to 50 million subscribers, I think they'd be okay with a dip in sales numbers because you're making that money up month after month for sure, right? If you get friends who are playing the game, you're going to be in it for at least a couple months to a year, paying for the service to play with your friends, right? And you also get other games that you may or may not play, but it doesn't matter to Microsoft because they're getting your money, right? They got you in one way. So, yeah, they may drop off the sales charts.